both ways, both from like information perspective and all the questions you asked about how to manage stress and all these things. So I think from both perspectives will be really helpful, because we don't see because in a country like India where we face so many challenges, when we have so many disadvantaged people, this sort of online thing actually helps people to take them forward, give them a level playing field. So it's actually in a way true social justice, I would say.
So hello everyone, welcome back to PhDResearchYaatra. Today we are delighted to have one of the aspiring research scholar and one of the intellectual mind from my state, because both of us belong to the same state, Assam. Actually, we wanted to talk in Assamese, but the thing is that taking consideration of the larger audience, so we are compelled to speak in English. So I would like to welcome Subhrangshu Pratim Sarmah. So he is a scholar in Jawaharlal Nehru University. Now he is pursuing his PhD in Center of European Studies, and before that he pursued his MPhil also from the same university, from the Center of International Relations and Disarmament. So this is my off the camera we in the past talked on many issues, many political issues and international relations issues, but on the research issues, this is our first conversation via virtually. So I would like to welcome you, Subhrangshu, to the channel. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. And thank you. And really a great effort being put up by your team and you. And I hope it helps many research scholars and aspiring research scholars, and also who have been doing it. So I think it helps. It's really wonderful what you've been doing.
Yeah. So first of all, that I would like to begin the interview from the very beginning, like question that since you are from the Jawaharlal Nehru University, and this university known for international relations domain. So I want to know about the interest of that particular domain, like international relations or diplomacy. So how did you generate that interest in you? It might be generated by you during school days or college days or even after that. So kindly just brief us about that.
Yeah. So basically, when we were in school, like third standard, fourth standard, all of us want to become the astronauts or astrophysicists. So that was the early goal, not international relations. But over time, when you grow up, you have different interests. I was primarily interested in politics and all that stuff that is around it. So if you see, in my early days, like say 9th or 10th standard, I was really interested in politics, all the happenings. I've been following it since like class 5th or 6th. So that was the beginning, like political science, not political science as in political science, but politics like that. But international relations, I didn't know that there's a discipline like that. Of course, in school textbooks, we hear about United Nations or Security Council, some Hitler, this, that. But you don't get a sense that there's a separate discipline. I'm talking about a pre-geo times when we were kids, 2012, 13. We had internet, but not geo. So at that time, interest that began basically by reading the newspapers, watching the different programs on TV, like these diplomats, they dress so elegantly, they speak so nicely. There's Obama coming in, Bush speaking. So all these images create certain sort of impressions in your mind. Secondly, my mother once told me after reading Dr. Bhupen Hazarika's autobiography that his wife, Priyam Patel, she used to study international relations in Columbia University. So that sounds like a discipline that you might like. So okay, so there's a discipline called international relations. So then you go to army school, then you go to Hindu college, political science. So then a different world opens up for you. In Hindu college, when I was doing my graduation, I got the chance to host many diplomats via our Global Youth Diplomatic Forum. We organized many programs. We met those diplomats. We attended many programs. In fact, in our own department also, we organized these programs. Also, we were very involved in activist policy sort of considerations. We were meeting ministers, all that. So slowly, without even realizing, you were understanding that, this is the discipline that actually grabs your interest. And there are actually 3-4 things in pol science: political theory, Indian politics, comparative, politics, and you have public administration and international relations. I realized that I don't have the theoretical bent of mind or a mind to understand political philosophy properly. I can understand everything, I can answer also, but I'm not really interested in the abstract ideas. But what really piqued my interest was, one, Indian politics, second was international relations. And international relation was so dynamic, something is changing all the time. You have the theoretical constructs, you have realism, liberalism, those are the lenses via which you analyze. But it's so dynamic, something is happening all the time. It always piques your brain, piques your interest, it sparks something in your brain. So slowly that happened. When in JNU, of course, in JNU, I didn't get actually admission in the international relation subject in MA. I got admission in MA in political science. Actually, that was even more motivation. That okay,
Yeah,
now I didn't get, I'll get admission in MPhil or PhD in international relations. So like that slowly. So after that, internet and everything. Yeah, so
yeah,
slowly this happened, I can say.
yeah. So it's a very, like intriguing journey that you have gone through actually. So my second question is why you chosen the European studies, like the Center of like European Studies. What is the the relevance of the European context in Indian phenomena? What's the reason what's the reason behind that you have chosen that particular center?
Basically, actually, I was not destined to go into the European Center. Actually, it happened by accident. I'll tell you why. Because my MPhil was in Center for International Politics, Organization and Disarmament, and under that, Diplomacy and Disarmament. So my topic was in MPhil, Values, Interests, and India's Negotiating Strategy, the Evolution of Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, that is the Quad. So
The quad.
basically, I was working on Indo-Pacific, these kind of things under Professor Amitabh Bhattu. So I thought maybe I'll eventually get into the same center only for PhD. But what happened? If you realize in 2020 that I was the last batch of MPhil, so they discontinued the MPhil and PhD together thing, and also they introduced only JRF thing. So I got caught in the middle what to do. So eventually, when the seats came out in the European Center, there was a lot of seats. I mean, like 4 or 5 seats for. So I thought like, yeah, that would be that is a practical reason I'm saying. This is not some philosophical reason. But at the same time, if you see the real thing, I realized that over time while analyzing international relation, Europe actually represents a unique blend of history, diplomacy, institutional evolution, say from colonialism to the EU. It offers a lot of contrasting dynamics. I wanted to understand like how Europe sees the world and how the world sees Europe. And in terms of India, if you see currently India and Europe, they're coming quite closer because Europe is trying to expand its horizon. It wants to integrate its economy with other partners, not exactly with America, but say, not exactly also China, but India and other such partners. So Europe-India connections are getting quite big. Of course, it existed in colonial time, but now it's getting bigger. And basically, in my area, Indo-Pacific, Europe also, if you remember, 2021 they came up with the document. So I realized that even in Indo-Pacific, what I worked on, there also Europe has a lot of interest, or it will have interest. So I thought that okay, let's link these two things. And from European lens, if I can analyze, because Europe is interested in India, India is interested in Europe, Europe is interested in Indo-Pacific. To this synergy, if I can work something on that, it would be really great. And engaging with European powers, it felt really timely to explore this space academically. And of course, our Center for European Studies, is one of the great centers after CPOD, and I mean Center for International Politics and also Center for European Studies. These are two of the really good centers. I mean, great faculty, great enthusiasm. So and a lot of funding also. In fact, European Center receives a lot of funding from the European powers. So I think this center actually represents a lot of intellectual rigor and understanding Europe, a lot of academic engagement also. So I think from all these angles, I realized that would be a good step in India. Of course, I could have gone abroad, but in India, that would be the best option, I thought.
Correct. So one additional question in that particular, category. So you said that Europe is so much interested on the Indo-Pacific region, like nowadays. So uh, can I compare about their interest on Indo-Pacific and their interest on Belt and Road Initiative? So in which side they are tilted more now?
Yeah, that's a good question actually. When we understand Europe's understanding of Indo-Pacific versus American understanding of Indo-Pacific versus India's understanding of Indo-Pacific, these things are very different. If you read all the documents of Europe or all the say scholarly literature, not scholarly literature, but mainly the government literature, you see that there's not much of an antagonism towards China. So they don't look at Indo-Pacific the way America or India is looking at it. There's a subtle difference because China is not their primary target. Although, of course, in terms of public engagements, say, rules of navigation, these kind of things they will say. But at the end of the day, China is not their target. They're thinking more in terms of connectivity, economy, in terms of green, structure. I mean, green investments, in terms of technology. So these are the aspects they are looking at. They are looking at this region not just strategically, but also as a region which is giving a lot of potential economically. Because Europe technically was an economic power. Now, of course, they will be spending on defense. But the main idea was more on exploring the potential of this area. At the same time, aligning the synergy with the American partners and all that is there. But this main thrust was more on the non-military side. So that was there. So I think exploring this area because this is the hot zone as of now. So I think they also wanted to do that. Yeah.
Okay. So last question on that particular category. We will be moving back to the PhD, like on the PhD topic. So last question is that what is the future of NATO in Europe?
That's a very interesting question. You get to see a lot of debates about it after Donald Trump came to power. In our center also, there was just before the election. I mean, election results. Everyone was like different opinions, of course, but some are saying, oh, Trump is coming, something will happen. But if you see today, there are different views. One view is that defense spending will rise, so that might lead to more of an antagonistic relationship with Russia. That is one opinion. Second is it will really benefit the what to say military-industrial complex, because where will they get their arms from? Immediately
Yeah.
you won't start producing. Germany has talked about raising the largest army, so that I think raise alarm bells among many people who know the history, because there's a history with Germany and how it rises. So that is
Yes,
another
yes.
thing. NATO, of course. See, it's not that only because Trump is coming, NATO is being in a trouble. That's not the case. For a long time, this NATO increasing its budget, strategic autonomy, talked by France. So these things have been there. It's not that Trump is whipping up something from the air.
Yeah.
These themes have been there, but he's like
Right.
accelerating those discussions. So I don't think, NATO won't. There's an opinion in India and many parts of the world, NATO will disintegrate, Europe will disappear. I don't think so. That's a bit of a overkill, I would say. What I feel is that this relationship between America and Europe will remain. The military alliance will remain because they need it to justify many, strategic initiatives that they are pushing. So NATO is kind of a necessity on that regard. Of course, they have their internal problems also that are rising in Europe. But at the same time, having Russia as a threat is kind of real for them. So yeah, NATO will remain. It will maybe defense spending more, and maybe evolution to a different sort of a NATO you might witness, which will be more dependent on its own, finances and all that. So yeah, and I think more collaborations with other partners like India.
Correct. So that we have got a comprehensive overview from you, a scholar. So it's a very good insight from him. So coming back to that PhD domain, so just enlighten the new scholars and new aspirants who are doing to pursue research, how they want to prepare to get to JNU, kind of a premier like institutions in India for their research and for their PhD. What would be their approach? What should be their approach?
I don't know about other institutions, but because I never applied anywhere else. I only applied in JNU and I continued there only. Had I applied anywhere, I could have told. But as of now, I have heard that most of the entrances are same, like the same entrance NET exam, and then they take the students. So I think if that continues, and if JNU doesn't come up with its own entrance that it used to be earlier, like till my time, I think the separate entrance. So I think it doesn't. If it doesn't come back, then for preparing into JNU or any other university, you have to ace the NET exam. I think that is the only way. There's no other way, because admission is, I can't give any specific customized advice. It's the NET exam, and whatever is there to get a high score in the NET exam, you have to. I mean, the students have to do that. And separately after the, exam, regarding the interview, and that is a different ball game, of course, because after you get, suppose you get 190, 200, whatever, but getting into the view thing and impressing the people. So I think that requires a lot of maneuvering. People, I mean, I don't want to speak it loud, but everybody knows how people get into PhD and how interviews happen, and how you have to present yourself, your synopsis and everything. I think those things should be clear in your mind, writing the synopsis properly. What is your area? What, from my experience, if you pick up an area which you are good in, you're interested in, then you can answer any questions that are posed by the interview board, even if they try to twist it. I think if you're thorough with your topic, suppose my topic is Indo-Pacific, this, that, Quad, Europe, Indo-Pacific. So if I have a fair bit of idea on that. So if they ask any question about China, this, that, so I can answer. So if your topic is something else, so I think knowing your topic, if someone's topic is US, India, so you need to know properly that topic. And second thing is they might about, say, research method, what are the methods you are using, like this, that, what would be your, what to say? I mean, what would be your approach, qualitative, quantitative, whatever it is. These. So I think you should have some idea, and you need to, I think if you can meet the teachers, if anybody, and these synopses and all these things. So I think these things basically help to get a seat, not just in JNU, anywhere.
Correct. That you are saying about the competent, like the subject domain should be strong, or like subject specific knowledge should be strong. At the same time, he should be also well versed about their research methodology part as well. So yeah. So
also one more point. If somebody has done a master's in a particular subject or graduation in a particular subject, that also he should have some bit of proper idea, because if interview it's asked, okay, so you have done masters in so and so subject, so that you can answer properly. So that's
kind of a like advantageous situation for them. Yeah. So like we all know about JNU and how it is one of the premier institutions of the country. It is top ranked university in India, not only in India, like around the world. So we know about the research in JNU is a very well equipped and robust. But even though we know that, but we want to know more about the research environment in JNU from a scholar itself. So, what is the research environment there? Like kind of a support system, or kind of the resources, infrastructure for R&D in JNU. We just want to know from a scholar of JNU.
Yeah, so I think all universities are great. There's nothing as much, and in terms of humanities, we all know how research happens. It's not like a science laboratory that you are needing funding and all. Of course, in humanities, you research, you go to the field, or you take help of the secondary sources. In those things are nothing different. But
Yeah.
At the same time, I feel in terms of humanities or arts, from my experience, I feel JNU is accepted as the topmost institution in India. Say, pol science, history, sociology, English, these kind of things. So from that perspective, I think the research environment is quite vibrant because you get a lot of really well accomplished faculty as your not just your teachers but maybe your supervisor or co-supervisor, whatever. And they're open to new themes. You can discuss those things with them, and even unconventional ones if you want to. Of course, at the end of the day, it has to come to a reflective equilibrium, but more or less you can discuss. There's space to challenge the assumptions. The culture encourages sort of independence, provides a lot of academic scaffolding to not feel lost. And at the same time, you get to meet the peers from different parts of India who are also really good. They might be preparing for competitive exams. They might be thinking about assistant professor or whatever, but there's sort of a good cream layer of intellectual openness. So if you interact with those people, you get to learn new things, and also the library, the infrastructure, also the guest lectures. I mean, not the guest lecturer. I'm talking about the guests who come to offer to give lectures in JNU. Suppose somebody has come from Europe and he's my friend. So suppose some think tanker or somebody. So he can come to JNU and give a lecture on, say, trade or something. So you always get to hear, listen to these kind of people, ambassadors, different kind of retired ambassadors, serving ambassadors, diplomats, politicians, European, American politicians, this, that. They keep coming all the time, academics. So you always get to meet them. So a lot of networking also happens if somebody is smart about it. And by the teachers also, you can explore a lot of networks and events, a lot of events. These workshops, young scholars workshops, this, that. So they keep happening. So you can get a lot of, in fact, our center, we organize almost, I think, 2-3 young scholars workshops every year, just the kind of thing, workshop or conference. So a lot of these things also happen. So yeah, I think more or less, and being in Delhi, I think that helps a lot. I see many people don't going out of the JNU campus also. That's also there. But if somebody can really take the advantage of being in Delhi, exploring the, say, Nehru Memorial, library, or going to DU, meeting people, you can do anything you want. You can go to American library, you can library. So being in Delhi, not just JNU, being in Delhi gives you a lot of advantage in terms of arts, humanities. I'm saying I'm not talking about science. So it gives a lot of advantage. So if you're intellectually curious, if you're aspirational, if you have some sort of spark in your mind, then you can do anything you want. And of course, maybe collaborating with your peers for papers, whatever, teachers. So all these things are possible. And that's for any university, not just JNU. But if you're asking about JNU, so yeah, that's it.
So you just mentioned about the networking skill of the scholars and networking ability of an individual, how it helps to grow, particularly in research. So, just tell me about the workshops and conferences you attended. I have gone through your this one, CV, and I have found out many workshops that you have attended. But most intriguing one is that I have received about the one you have attended in Relevance. So tell me about that.
Actually, the Tel Aviv one was not basically because of JNU. It was for my personal network. But
Yeah,
from JNU, I would say I would just divide it into two categories. One
yeah,
is being a student of JNU or being a student in Delhi, and the other one, my personal thing. So being a student of JNU or being a student of Hindu college, to attend a lot of these conferences. It keeps happening all the time. Sometimes you feel like not even attending because it happens all the second or second week. Because so many diplomats, so many scholars, everyone would be coming there. So every day something is happening. So but that also gives a lot of impetus for the students to perform better because they get to see these big people. So yeah, conferences basically in JNU, I would say during MPhil time, it was my MPhil was during COVID, MA and MPhil in a way. So because at that time there was nothing much, mostly online workshops that you guys also attended. In after joining PhD, I mean after MPhil, after PhD, so there we had these young scholars conferences in our center. Then we had these workshops on migration on Europe, say cultural sort of thing that is happening in Europe. So these things have happened from our center, I'm saying. from other centers also, young scholars conferences keep happening time to time. So you can participate there also if your abstract gets. Apart from that, being a part of JNU, many people actually go abroad also for field trips and for attending conferences if they get good funding. Not necessarily from JNU, but say from their supervisor helping them, something like that. So they go abroad to, and from our center, many people go to Europe to present their papers and all. So that keeps happening. As regards to me, because of my own personal network, I have attended many such things prior to even joining JNU. But this Tel Aviv one happened in when I was in May. I was not a student of School of International Studies at that point, because I was a student of MA in Political Science, the Center of Political Studies. So at that time, I got an opportunity to go to Tel Aviv. Our topic was on understanding the deterrence that Israel is having with its adversaries, and how
Deterrence in
South Asia
the
can learn from that.
like deterrence in the sense of nuclear weapons.
No, security landscape. How we are
Security lens. Okay.
deterring their enemies,
Okay.
So
Okay.
how to manage the escalatory ladder. So that was the prime focus of that workshop. So I was the youngest. I was 22 at that point, and the rest of the people were 30s. So I was like a kid. So I was like absorbing everything. These idea people are coming. Somebody, Ronan Bergman was there, and then some Mossad guy. Of course, Mossad guy I won't know immediately, but later on I realized that's Mossad. And then they took us to the Syria border. We saw the Hezbollah flag there, yellow. Now it's destroyed.
Yes.
Then we
The flag of
went
Hezbollah.
to Hezbollah, then Golan Heights, all these places. So we went, and that was a brilliant experience. I mean, that actually helped me in. You are asking about international relations. That was one experience which actually propelled me to these things, because I heard so many people talking about escalatory ladder, deterrence, this, that, these kind of words, how to manage escalation. What is the nuclear, threshold, blackmail, these kind of things. So that actually opened my mind. Oh my God, these things are happening. And from Israel, there's so many things to learn. So from security perspective, I'm saying I'm not talking about human rights. That's a different debate. But purely from security perspective, so we have so many things to learn. So that actually opened my mind. After that MA only, I joined the diplomacy and disarmament. So that was a continuation. We got to learn from Happy Mon Jacob and all these people, and Mattu sir and all these. So they taught us these kind of things of nuclear, all that. So that theme opened up. And I'm still in touch with all these people. It was mostly organized by the US Department of Energy, National Nuclear Security Administration. So they fund these kind of things and to bring this kind of track to sort of thing. So that happened. It happened in Israel with the Association of INSS, that is their think tank of Tel Aviv. So
Okay, it's a very interesting one. So because nowadays there are this 2025 is a year of war that people are discussing like that. So we
in
have
fact,
to.
let me just add something. Sorry to butt in. Actually, when we were talking about on the first day itself of the conference, I was really this is very interesting actually in today's context. So when they were giving the presentations, so they were saying to us, the biggest threat we face is from global Islamism. So maybe fine, this is what India also faces. Then they say, do you know who is our biggest enemy? Iran. I was like thinking, okay, Iran, from our perspective, Iran is not the enemy. We think when we talk about global Islamic terrorism or global terrorism, we think about Pakistan. But their very first thing was Iran. Then I started understanding how they view the world, Hezbollah. Then they explained the tentacles, the octopus, these kind of things. Iran, when they're talking, Iran is their biggest, enemy at that point of time. They're talking all the time about Iran. But when we think from India, our only goal is Pakistan, but their thing was Iran. So now when we see today how the divergences come up or how alliances come up, so this thing actually becomes relevant.
So it's a country specific basis, and Israel is is Israel it's a national security state or not, or it's a democracy?
This is absolutely national security is a democracy, but its main core trust is national security.
National security. Okay, so it's a very now I'm going to ask a million dollar question. One. So how do you stay motivated during this PhD journey? Because we see many scholars that they are some problems on personal level, and they somewhat get demotivated also. So how do you make yourself very cheer up and to not letting those thoughts come and to overwhelm you in the research journey?
Yeah, actually, we get to hear these things a lot, because when you meet people, so and so trouble is happening. Supervisor is not. I'm talking about other people. Supervisor is not talking something. All kinds of trouble people face. Shadi ho rahi hai, ye ho raha hai. So all this, some boys talking, "Meri job nahi ho rahi." So all these kind of things you keep hearing. So that's a real thing, and many people say that's not my personal experience, but many people say PhD journey is lonely. People get disillusioned. It's so long. Nothing is coming up. I'm not able to write. depressed, all these things. So these things are there. I've heard. Personally, see, my current thing is only about getting a job. So that is my only thing. No other stress. That is the only stress. I need to get a job, government job, this job. So that is the only
Yeah.
stress. No,
Yeah.
nothing other than that. So when I'm studying or anything, so that thing keeps playing on my mind. Okay, so time is running out. Somebody's getting a IAS something. Somebody's getting assistant professor. I need to do something fast. Otherwise, my reputation will go for a toss, or even for life also. So that is the only so for that, what to say? I mean, just watching YouTube, maybe reading something. I just keep my mind diverted because that is the only stress I face. For others, I would say, so they can do something that they like. I see many people getting rid of their hobbies after a point of time. You should keep doing. If you're singing, why not? Just keep singing, keep reciting, do other things also. You should have
Yeah.
something on the side that is for the mental sort of a thing. And you need
Yeah.
to have people to talk. I hear many people they can't express their feelings. I mean, as men, women, we have different sort of way of expressing feelings. Of course, we don't express openly, but I'm saying you need to have somebody to talk. Talk to your mother, talk to your father, talk to some friend. Just vent out. These things are happening. So once you vent out, you're kind of relaxed. Because if you keep it inside your heart, then it starts bothering you more. That is one suggestion I would say. Talk to people. I mean, not everyone, just people you trust. And then secondly, I would say keep some what to say. If things are disillusioned, if everything is black or bleak, then you will somebody will face a lot of trouble. So I think you need to have some sort of goal in that. During this PhD journey, I might apply these sort of things. I might do this postdocs so that my career. So that plan I think should be on the back of mind, because if all the time you're thinking about your research or your supervisor, your this, that, some bullying, something, many things happening, politics, internal politics. So if that's not happened to me, but other people I have heard. So if you're busy in those things, then you'll always be stressed. So just have other avenues of career as well as leisure that can keep you occupied and also take you further in life. So that's my suggestion. Of course, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm just based on my experience, I'm just saying.
So that is a journey. So that everybody has their own journey. So, but yeah, like you said, that the peer support and the support from the friends is very crucial to continue this journey, particularly. So now we have some rapid fire question for you, specifically on your field. So just let me know about the the most favorite European thinker that you like the most.
I would say Robert Schuman or Jean Monnet. These are the two people who have been really instrumental in putting Europe on the world map, or post-war European unity, the visionary role. Actually, there's this book, The Ambassadors. People should read.
Yeah.
There are many diplomats mentioned here from Sweden, many unknown diplomats, and also bigger ones that I mentioned. So it has a very good. I mean, not just from Europe perspective, for anybody.
Yeah.
So there are many names I mentioned.
Yeah. So, what's a book that you want to suggest people to read? Most favorite
People
book
should read anything that they get their hand on, because all books are important. And nowadays, I'll give a suggestion. You can put it on ChatGPT and ask it to give you these summaries. You can read more. I mean, not reading, but that's not a good way. But I'm just saying, to know more information. Otherwise, if you want to read properly, then read properly. I would say some books that I had read long back. Say not just international relations for Indian foreign policy. Dr. Tharoor's Pax Indica, that was a very good book. Then T.P. Srinivasan's Applied Diplomacy, that was a very good book. And this Henry Kissinger's Diplomacy, that's a very old book actually. This is there in my
yeah.
So this
the big the big elephant.
So this book is really good.
Yeah.
This diplomacy book is very good. Then there's depending on your interest, because if somebody is interested on China, there's one really good book on John Key on Chinese history, because we need to know the history. That I forgot to mention. For any topic, you need to know the history properly, history, culture. So that gives a lot of impetus.
So
there's one book on Osama.
Can I add something in a very lighter note? So people are saying that China has China has been so much China is so much developed today. So because of one person, that is Deng Xiaoping, that people used to give credit, but it is not actually Deng Xiaoping. It is because of Henry Kissinger. So this is
absolutely that China. In fact, in that case, you have to give credit to Pakistan also, because they brought in China and America together. So on a lighter note, Pakistan deserves more credit in a way.
Middleman.
But the forever middleman. I would say forever middleman.
Yeah. So and now like what do you suggest now, since now the technology is so much advanced and people are accessing AI tools to read and to to understand concepts also. So do you think the relevance of book is still there, or people should save their time by going through the electronic materials only?
No, no, absolutely, absolutely. If you need to have the depth of any subject, then you have to read properly and meet people, talk and understand, read the papers. Because see, if I if I put a book on AI, yeah, I mean via ChatGPT, it'll give me some pointers, and even if I keep asking, it'll give me some minute pointers. But if I read properly the book, I'll get the entire picture, and that'll give me the depth. Because see, for the short term, I might get some praise by giving some quote or short points of a book. I might say, I have read this long diplomacy book and I give some quick pointers. I might get accolades from you. But in the long run, when I'll be an academic, when I'll be a researcher, if I don't know it in depth, if I don't know it properly, then it'll backfire at the end of the day. So it's better you read properly. You read three books properly, read others in a different way. Suppose there's a long book, for example, which is really huge. So that you can use ChatGPT for a while, but I think that should not be a shortcut. The only problem, I was discussing this with my mother also today, that when we use AI, we already have some sort of backup knowledge from our years of reading and talking with people. We use AI to enhance our knowledge, not because. But if somebody doesn't have any knowledge, a kid, and he starts with AI immediately from class fifth or sixth standard, then it won't help. That is the thing. If you read, if you have some sort of idea, then AI can enhance it. But if you don't even have the basic knowledge, if you don't have basic depth, then it'll be very shallow. So I think shallow academic is not good. You need to have depth. So I think people should read. And for
Yeah.
minor things, you can use it.
Correct, correct. So we have reached to the like to the bottom of this interview. So kindly just how you like perceive our initiative also, uh, and our you know uh, our concept of coming up with this channel to connect with the scholars to simplify the concepts. So how do you view it? How do you view this?
Yeah, yeah, it's really important actually. Saw some of your shorts where you talk about some bibliometrics, something like that. You know, all those parameters that are, I mean, tools that are used in research, all those different kind of things in short videos. So that is very important. And I saw one of your videos that a scholar was talking about her research journey. So in both ways, both from like information perspective and all the questions you asked about how to manage stress and all these things. So I think from both perspectives will be really helpful because we don't see a lot of YouTube channels talking about the nitty gritties of research. There are some, of course, many YouTube channels who talk about research journey, this, that, but exploring a wide range of issues that you have done is really commendable. I hope you talk to more people. I'm a very nobody. I don't have any knowledge. But if you talk to proper people who have proper knowledge, who know certain sort of things, I think they will be able to help the students better. And the kind of things they are doing, I hope that it helps a lot of students and this actually bears fruit because it's very important.
Yeah.
Because people are confused. Because in a country like India where we face so many challenges, when we have so many disadvantaged people, this sort of online thing actually helps people to take them forward, give them a level playing field. So it's actually in a way true social justice, I would say.
Thank you very much for your compliments. So finally, what is your suggestion to the PhD scholars? Last one.
uh, do the research of your topic that you like, and also think about its market viability also, and at the same time keep other options how to get a job. That is important because we need to get a job. So these
Yeah,
two things should be on the same track. So
correct.
yeah.
So thank you, Subhrangshu. That today is very one of the like enlightenment talks that I had. I had like conducted some interviews for some other like purposes, but this is one of the best interviews I have gone through from the research perspective also, and
Thank you
as
so much.
well
You've
as
been kind. Thank you.
yeah. So as well as on this subject domain category also. So thank you very much for being with us. We will definitely, uh, we will definitely do many meetings in days to come with some other topics and some other phenomena and events. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, and all the best to your team and also to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you.